Welcome to Chapters Photography. Today is an unboxing video. We're going to be unboxing this, the Yongnuo YN216 Pro LED video light. For those of you that follow the channel, you'll probably recall a little while ago I did an unboxing and test of these lights, the Amaran lights made by Aperture. And the reason I bought those is because I wanted to do some filming at very high frame rates, 1000 frames per second, to do some slow motion capture indoors. Shooting with standard tungsten lights or fluorescent lights, you get a pulsing, which is no good, and without enough light inside, the camera pushes the ISO and you get a horrible grainy image. We did manage with these little lights to get 1000 frames per second, but we had such a small depth of field because it was still shooting at aperture f1.8 that we didn't even have a small bowl of orange juice in focus. So the aim is now, with a bigger light, with a bigger output, to go through exactly the same tests where we measure the lumens with a light meter, and we'll do exactly the same shoot with the orange juice, and we'll see if we can get a much smaller f number, so we get a much deeper depth of field, and actually compare that footage. So let's have a look. Right, so let's go ahead with the unboxing. This is how the product arrived from Amazon. I bought it from a company, not actually Amazon itself, but from a company that use Amazon to distribute their goods, and it comes with a battery. These are the Sony batteries which are synonymous with all these types of LED lights, and they're actually video recorder batteries. So let's get inside the box. So I've got a small stand, some quick codes, and a warranty card. A stamp to say when it was made. Some instructions. Some diffusers. Orange, blue, red and clear. And the light itself. And that's the contents of the box. Okay, so let's just get this onto the stand, make it a bit easier to handle. So this is quite nice. This is this is stepped, so you can keep it at an angle and it's not going to slide. I'm just going to put it on there. It's got barn doors on the front, and the strange thing with these Yongnuo lights is the barn doors are silver on the inside and black on the outside, which is unusual because you would expect the barn doors to be black on both sides so that the light doesn't spill and doesn't reflect out anywhere else. So I might find myself just turning them around. There's a, you can see that on the camera, there is a little Phillips screw on there, and there's some little nuts on the back, so I might have a go at that later. Anyway, here's the light. You can see it's on its own articulated stand, and it comes with this foot. Obviously that will fit onto any such fitting if it's on the top of a light stand. On the top we have the receiver for the battery, and also, if you wish, you can run it on AA batteries. That will take six AA's. And there's also a DC port here for a to run it off of the mains. So let's get the battery out. Past its quality control. A little bit of attention required. And then the battery. And a little bit of bubble wrap. So, standard Sony copy, or copy of a Sony battery. Let's put this on. So it goes on and clicks home quite nicely. There's a release catch there, so you know that shouldn't come off accidentally. So let's look at the controller. So we have a simple button for on and off, coarse and fine, which relates to how quickly the output changes when you spin this adjustment wheel, and you've got a button here to check the battery. So if I turn it on there, battery check is shipped with the battery that's 100% full. That's good. If it's fine, its course. I can turn all the way from minimum to maximum in about half a turn. If it's on fine, it takes about half a turn for 1/10 of the output. There we go. Let's just open these barn doors so we actually see the output. I won't shine it at the camera, obviously. There we go. So we can see that output change as we cycle up through the different levels. Okay, and the gels simply fit on and just push into the recess around the light, like that. And there, a little tab here so you can clip them out. So there we go. Apart from the curiosity about why the barn doors are silver on the inside, that seems a very sensible little light. It's very bulky here with this battery. As I said before, you can use AAs inside there to make it far more compact, and you can power it straight off of the mains. But if it's going to be sitting down like this, I suppose it doesn't really matter how big that battery is and how high that sticks up. Let's give you a view from there just to see how high that is. Right, I'm going to clear this away. I'm going to set up the light meter. I have bought a second one of these, so I'm going to set them both up pointing at the light meter, go up one stage at a time and see what lumens we get, just as a comparison. Then we'll get the orange juice in the middle and we'll do exactly the same test as we did last time, and then I'll bring the results out of that other video and we'll look at them side by side. So I'll be back with you very quickly. So if you saw the last video, you'll recognise the setup here. I've got the two lights. Let's just turn them off for a second just to show you how much light is in the room without them. Okay, so I've killed the light I was using for the earlier part of the video. I've got the light meter set up here to register lux, and with no lights on here, we're registering 57 lux. What I'm going to do is turn these on one by one and then step up through each of them, through all of their levels, and we'll see what lux we get at the camera. No practical use whatsoever, but it will give us an idea of how smooth the ramp up is, and if you are interested to know what output they have, because you can use that in an application and of your own, you're going to have those figures. So they're just over a foot away, I'd say between 30 and 45 centimeters from the light meter. Let's start moving through. So starting at 60. Okay, let's start moving up. And on full power, $18,000 lux. I'll just take one of those off. I think we can tell there that is a pretty 50-50 split. There we go. So not really a lot of practical help in the real world, but you can see that they're even. They're both giving out a consistent amount of light, and it seemed to step through the levels pretty well, with about 1,000 lux jump per light per step. Right, I'll pack this away, get the orange juice down, and we'll see what difference it makes to a bit of real world photography, which at the end of the day is what it's all about. So here's the setup, the same as it was in the previous video. Just tilt that down so that's not flaring in the camera. So got some orange juice in a bowl, we've got the two lights pointing straight at it, and I've got an ISO here now of f4.5, shutter speed of 1000 frames per second. So that's much better than it was. I've got basically two stops back from what I had before. These are a little bit noisy. The fans, as these, I guess because they're on 100%, the fans keep coming on and off. So if you've bought these guys to do anything for video, especially if it's going to be quiet and these are going to be anywhere near the camera, that's something you're going to have to consider. I guess they probably won't come on as much if they're not at 100%, but it's something I thought you should know. So I'm going to get this captured. Now, as you know, if you watched the previous one, this takes a minute or two to write all that information to disk. It's over a gig's worth of information. It's not going to be very exciting for you. I'm going to cut it here. I will run another one just to make sure I've got some good footage, and then I'll see you next time when I've got this all into Final Cut Pro, and we'll look at it alongside what we did with the little Amaran lights with these guys, and we'll see what difference that makes, what the cost difference was, and then do a quick wrap up. See you shortly. Okay, so welcome back. I've taken the shots and I've put them into Final Cut Pro. I've just dropped them into the workspace here as I'm editing this video. It's a bit rough and ready, but I think it'll serve the purpose. All I want to do is have a look at how this video compares to the one that we shot with the Aperture Amaran, which you can see on the screen now. Just a reminder, those lights were £39 and I found them from numerous retailers on Amazon. And against the Yongnuo YN216 that we just shot, and these are about £45 off Amazon. So the lights are at a very similar price point, vastly different. One's got an internal battery, charge it off a USB, take it anywhere, tiny, really usable. Doesn't throw out as much light. The 216, far more powerful, far more bulky. You need a battery pack or some AAs, or you run them off the mains. So let's remind ourselves what we got shooting from the Amaran. So let's just say this made it possible to shoot indoors at 1000 frames per second. The image isn't bad if all you want to do is just see what something looks like. You can see here there's not such a lot of detail at the back. We've got a very thin or very small depth of field. What's in that depth of field looks okay. As it drops out of that depth of field, you know, it's really not good enough. And let's compare that to what we get from the 216. So instantly it's a sharper image. You can see this detail is much better. We can see flying off here all the tiny little splashes. I haven't done anything post-production. The color isn't correct. I haven't played around with it. I wanted to show you it exactly as it came out of the camera. But we can see around here the detail is much better. The focus is much better. And that's because more light is allowing us to shoot with a larger aperture, or a smaller aperture with a larger f-stop. And that's essentially the difference. I'm not saying one light is better than the other, because it all depends what you want to use those lights for, whether you want one in your pocket just to bring out for a bit of fill, or whether you need that extra light to shoot something like this. It just gives you the two examples so you can see what they're like. So I'm really pleased with these. I think at the end of the day more light would be even better, but I'm sure I could tweak the setup so that I could actually get a better result than this. But this was just set up quickly, quick unboxing, let's see what they're like, and they will just become part of my tools that I will use going forwards. I'm going to end the video here. Well, in fact I'm not. I'm going to play them side by side first. If you have any questions, please leave them below. in the comment section. I will come back to you. Any questions at all, or anything perhaps you'd like me to do with them if you're considering buying them, I don't have a problem with that. And take a look at the channel. There's numerous other unboxing videos and other products which you might find interesting as well. So I'll leave this to play out side by side. Gives you a real indication of how much that extra light gives you by way of extra clarity in the picture. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon.